Hi everybody and welcome to another Python Basics tutorial. This is going to be quite a short one. We're going to talk about a thing called numbers in Python. We've already seen strings, which you denote with quotation marks and which are essentially just a sequence of characters. Just to recap quickly, so this would be we create a string and then assign it to a variable using this notation. Now we're going to talk about numbers instead, and numbers, obviously referring to numbers in the mathematical sense. In Python you can just write them straight away. That is, unlike strings where you have to use the quotation mark notation, you don't do that with numbers, you just write them out. And yeah, everything that you would normally expect from numbers, from your usual mathematics knowledge, is kind of applies. You see, there are negative numbers which you denote with a minus sign. There are numbers which have decimal places, so that is totally legit, and so forth. Yeah, these are numbers. The same counts, the same sort of that you can expect, what you would normally take for granted, also applies to the operations. So let's say we have two numbers and we want to add them together. That's plainly it. So if we want to see whether that works, we do the operation here. We add the two numbers. We call this variable our rs for result and print that out. And there we go. So plus works like you would expect. Minus works like you would expect. Multiplication is denoted by a little star sign. So there you go. And division is just one / like this. Now one thing to note is I showed you the decimal numbers and with a little dot in between. And in Python there's a distinction between the whole numbers that don't have any dot thing and the decimal numbers. And the jargon is plainly that the whole numbers are referred to as integers and the ones with a dot in between are referred to as floats, for a floating number, I believe. But the same operations like apply. You can just add together floats and so forth. So point being, by and large, numbers works like you would usually expect them to. Yeah, there are some obviously other things you can do. You can take square roots, like there are lesser known things like this is modulus, I think. So that gives you the remainder of a division. You can see here that would give you 2, because if you divide 200 by 99, you have a remainder of 2, and so forth. But you don't need to know this. Usually like the usual plus, minus, addition, multiplication, division, that's good enough. Unless you write an application that's really math intensive, in which case you just want to look up and like quickly read over Python math again, and that's going to serve you well. Yeah, that is pretty much it. Maybe one thing to highlight in which sense numbers in Python and strings in Python are actually different. So, like I just shown you, you can use the plus sign on two numbers and it will perform mathematical addition. So this should result in 110, right? Now the plus sign can also be applied to two strings. So let's say we have a string called hello, I like to stick with the usual hello world. Then we follow it with a plus sign followed by another string. So this plus sign in between the two strings does not do mathematical addition. What it does instead is it takes the two strings on the ends and puts them together, merges them so to speak, into one big string. So if we do this and the result here, you can see here in the output it says hello world in one consecutive string. Now so that's there you can see like addition for numbers in Python does a different thing than addition for strings. And because strings are just sequences of characters, adding them together means just clutching them together. Whilst this with numbers is actual mathematical addition. Maybe one example to highlight this even more. If you, let's say you have a string with the characters of numbers. Let's say here you have one small string that holds the character of 1 and one small string that holds a character of 4. But these are not the numbers 1 and 4, right? They're just strings with the characters. So if you add these together, it will not result in 5, which will be the mathematical result of adding 1 and 4, but would merge those strings and put them next to each other, so it would be 14, as you can see here, right? I'm just highlighting this to maybe highlight to you a little more how numbers and strings are two different sort of things. They're of a different kind. So they're doing the same thing to them, the addition, has a different meaning for the one than it has for the other. Yeah, I think that should be it for now. That's kind of pretty much all you need to know about numbers for now. There's a little more to know, but that's sort of knowledge that you only need in special cases. And you know, Google is around, so you can ask Google if you are in need. Alright, that should suffice for now. See you in the next tutorial. Bye bye.